Good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel. This video is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research, make your own decisions. All right, guys, welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to be laying out the big picture vision of how ICP becomes the first smart web in existence, where all software we use has large language models embedded into the software, and the entire ecosystem is becoming smarter and more efficient on a daily basis. All intellectual property is captured because everything is wrapped in programmable, tamper-proof software on chain. This is all ran through an open governance model. This is truly one of the most insane things. It's going to take me a while to talk through all of this, number of different videos. And you kind of have to put yourself in a different mindset to conceptualize everything here. And I will jump all over the place throughout all these videos, just heads up. But I would start looking at canisters for the things they're going to be used for. So you can start kind of conceptualizing what this would look like and all the different utilities and applications. So think of one canister maybe as your online profile, your smart wallet, right? And then another one maybe as a social media application, another one maybe as a exchange or something like that. They could be anything. Okay. You can put your social media application in the canister. You can put your website in canister. You could use it for cloud storage. It could be your smart wallet. There's so many different possibilities with canisters. Programmable, tamper-proof. But ultimately, I see large language models being embedded into all of these canisters. Okay. So before I go back into the disclaimers, start thinking with you're in a new digital environment. And more or less, everything has programmable tamper-proof software wrapped around it. All social media applications, all websites, all user profiles. And within that tamper-proof programmable software wrapped around it that the user owns and controls, okay? All on an open governance system. You have large language models embedded into that software. And all of this is feeding into the same ecosystem. And each user will be able to control the degree to which their data is shared. So if you take, let's say, 5 billion people on the web, a percentage of them is going to be willing to sell their data. And there's going to be tons of large language models and more or less the owners of those large language models that are going to want to buy that data. And so this entire ecosystem is just going to continually become smarter and grow and develop. These are my disclaimers really quick. I do see this as a multi-chain world, and the ICP thesis is really a crowdsourced thesis. This wasn't just something I came up with, and this is something we've been talking through for a few years at this point. I didn't create this diagram. I've had to ask a lot of people in the community tons of questions over the last couple of years, and I would suggest that, well, in my opinion, ICP probably has the largest technical community in crypto by a very wide margin, just with developers and engineers, just in the community here, outside of dfinity. And everything that I'm going to be talking about in this video is fast forwarding. I'm essentially jumping to the end. Not really the end, but I might also get there, but pretty close to the end. So this all has to work, is what I'm saying. And it's going to take time. And I'm not saying there's 100% certainty that everything's going to work perfectly. Maybe there's limitations, and this will take time. What we're talking about is there's a lot of moving parts. We're talking about new technology as well. But the possibilities here are hard to explain in words. And this is so drastically different from what we're used to right now on the web that you do have to put yourself in a different mindset to conceptualize what this would look like. Okay. And for anybody who's newer, hasn't really looked into ICP, Think of canisters as the new age general purpose software of the future. They could be anything. Okay. They could be social media applications, messaging applications, your website, something like iTunes, basically anything on the App Store. And the canister itself is the programmable tamper-proof software on chain. Don't need security, cybersecurity, and IT. So you're on chain. So all that goes out the window. And you're more or less wrapping your application or your website or whatever it is with programmable tamper-proof software that has large language models embedded into it. And so if you think about different Ethereum applications that launch their token on Ethereum, but that maybe use some of the big tech infrastructure for their front end and for other things, if they launch their token on Ethereum, they could use canister smart contracts for pretty much everything else. Once we get to the point where these large language models, they're going to be put in these canister smart contracts, can start building out web applications on command. Now, this isn't here yet. Just add additional time to however soon you think this will be available. Add double that time period, okay? Because whether or not we ultimately do get to that point, it is a much, much, much bigger deal than whether it takes another month or 6 months or 12 months in all reality. And so, more or less, projects that have launched in other ecosystems launch their tokens on other ecosystems. Let's just say that certain projects want a diversification of risk. They want to have certain assets on other networks outside of ICP, but they just want to use ICP as an application layer to utilize the AI smart contracts to pretty much do everything. Because once they can build your application for you, guess what? They can also audit everything for you and do all the maintenance. And so cybersecurity, right now, a lot of these different projects are running on Web2 infrastructure. And so essentially think about taking Uniswap and putting Uniswap in a canister. And on top of that, you have a large language model embedded into the canister. Okay. Again, start thinking with canisters as the things they're going to be used for. So large language models will be able to build custom applications. They'll be able to audit applications and smart contracts. Cybersecurity, IT, out the window. The cost of application level development is going to go down close to zero. All intellectual property is captured because it's all wrapped. Everything's in canisters. And each individual person, canisters have that additional level of programmability. You're essentially adding a whole new layer of programmability into the web and then embedding artificial intelligence into it. 100% full monetization and return on investment on this model. The way the model and the framework was set up, this could become the most efficient web possible. All intellectual property can be captured. Okay. You're essentially talking about a web running at 100% efficiency, 100% monetized, where all intellectual property is captured, and 100%, and this is really the big one, truth-based system. When all the software you use is smarter than you, And it's gradually getting smarter every day, along with the entire infrastructure. And on this model, because it's all ran through an open governance system and because it's all on chain, you can distribute ownership of these AI models any which way you want. Because canisters themselves are programmable, when you're putting these large language models into the canisters, what you decide to do with them is up to you. You can do anything with them, especially when they can start building out applications on command. And the real big one is that is if some point in time, Dfinity, they work this out to where training and everything can happen on chain and everything, the whole entire AI lifecycle happen on chain, more specifically the training. But so canisters themselves are programmable. And you're putting these large language models for different things, right? These large language models will be designed for different things, but all canisters can talk to each other, okay? All canisters can talk to each other. And big picture, right? Given that they're programmable and customizable, right? So you could decide the degree to which you shared information, right? And so if you're just looking at a situation where everything is becoming exponentially smarter and more efficient all the time, especially if these large language models start learning from each other as this is all growing and developing. And I assume that this could be given the programmability, and essentially you have this entire additional. I assume that the large language models could start learning from each other in this ecosystem, right? And so put yourself in a digital universe where everything is wrapped in programmable, tamper proof software that has large language models embedded into it. Everybody has a software engineer at their fingertips. All IP is protected. Costs for cybersecurity and IT gone. People can choose. They actually own their data and can choose what they do with it if they want to sell it. And when you have billions of people on a system like this, and a percentage of them are selling their data, it's like this entire thing is just becoming smarter and more efficient on top of just the fact that they're gradually learning to begin with. You're essentially embedding AI into a technology framework that gives you, that lets you capture all value, that offers maximum potential for learning, growth, and development. But you're also giving the user 100% control. On an open public network where everything is done through a governance system. The possibilities here are so insane when you really start thinking this all the way through. That's all I have for this video. I'm going to have to go back. I wanted to jump to the end and then I'm going to work back. Okay. But Again, you're talking about 100% efficiency, 100% monetized, 100% truth-based. That's another big thing. All software you use is smarter than you. This could be the most insane creator economy ever. And in my opinion, if this is going to work at scale, this is a perfect framework for artificial intelligence. This is the most perfect framework for artificial intelligence. Okay, that's all I have for this video. This was not financial advice. Sorry, I probably presented that a little weird, but I'll make it make sense through the upcoming videos. Not financial advice. Take care. Have a good day. I'll see you in the next video.